You earlier said the Commission's position on the opening of the cluster one remains unchanged. It's a merit-based process. It needs to be opened. Moreover, all clusters can be opened until hearing. But we see that Hungary's position remains unchanged. Where are we now? Where do we stand? Are we closer to persuading Hungary to change their stance, or the Costa Plan, the 26 draft?
Ukraine has delivered, and Moldova has also delivered. So, since you have said it is a merit-based principle, there are no obstacles not to open a cluster one as soon as possible. This is the position from the European Commission. Of course, in the Council, the member states have a say. But I would like to remind you that Hungary has agreed to give your country a candidate status. That's why we have started, and I'm sure that we will find the solution for going on very soon. I'm still optimistic that we could open all the clusters this year, and that we will find a solution with Hungary, especially now since I have visited Zakarpattia yesterday. I wanted to see how the minorities are living, especially the Hungarian minority, and I'm sure that they have a lot of rights. I have met 2 representatives of the Hungarian minority. Nobody was complaining. So this will be also my message when I will come back to Brussels to proceed it on.
And I read your message that you delivered to the Council of National Minorities, and you mentioned that you visited 2 schools, Hungarian and Slovakian. So will that be part of your message, the language part of the minority question?
Yeah, this is the minorities are something which enriches us and enriches also Ukraine and will enrich Europe. And if there are any concerns, and there are concerns from Hungary, which we are taking very seriously, but exactly in cluster one, we can tackle and discuss about all the concerns Hungary is having, because the first cluster is about the fundamentals, and there is no way that we, would accept a country into the EU which is not protecting the minorities. This is the DNA of the European Union. So we just have to find the proper way.
Yeah, and you're going to be strict. Yeah.
Yes, you have read my speech. Why strict? But also, I said strict, but I will be also fair and engaged. And there are many reasons why, especially, we should be strict, not just myself, to the fundamentals. This is what makes us so unique. This is how the EU has been established, and this is what differentiate us from many communities all around the world, where some minorities can't even live normally, and we have special rights for them. And I was also explaining the situation of minority in Slovenia. We have Italian minority, we have a Hungarian minority. I grew up on the border with Austria. On the other side, it is the Austrian, Slovenian minority in Austria. So there are many good examples how to enrich the life with minorities.
The pro-democratic, pro-European powers there. Various opinions persist among experts on whether it is possible or necessary to decouple Ukraine and Moldova on the European path. Definitely, obviously, Ukraine stands for keeping it regional, the regional approach. This is, I believe, where the Commission stands. What is your opinion now, given that Moldova practically needs a push, like they need to deliver also, their government needs to deliver, but also Ukraine, we are all in the same, we feel like we're in the same boat, and we feel that this path should be common. What is your position now?
First, about the elections in Moldova, I'm so happy that the result has been that Moldova can go on the pro-European way. If the results would be different, if pro-Russian forces would prevail, this would really make the whole region unsecure. This is, in the southern border of Ukraine. It is only 3 hours by car from Chisinau to Odessa. Meaning, if Russia would really take over or would be, putting away Moldova from the European past, this would affect the security in the region, in Ukraine, and also in the whole Europe. We would like to start an open cluster one with both countries as soon as possible, because you have done your homework, you have delivered both countries, and we should honor your achievements. Of course, it is clear that member states have to say yes, but it is also important from the psychological point of view. When I speak about the security in Europe, Europe cannot be secure without stable, democratic Ukraine. And part of Moldova in this is that it has gone so far already that we are also supporting them. So when I speak about security, it's something what we now really need in Europe, especially because we see for the first time that there are external disruptive forces who would like to see failing not just the candidate countries, but also the European Union. So no, why Putin is doing this? Also to show European Union, you see, Europe is not attractive anymore. Even, the people of Moldova and so on. And Russia was spreading the narrative, which was very dangerous from this military part, that, they were saying that if Moldova would go the European way, they will have the war the same as it is happening in Ukraine. And they have proven, and we have proven together, that Putin was wrong. His forces, his influence, and he had invested his regime 300 to 400 million euro. They couldn't beat us. And this is what we really should remember for the time which is coming to us in the next future. If we stand together, we really are strong to defeat Russia on the field of hybrid war.
You mentioned an interesting point that I definitely share, that Ukraine, being part of the European Union, contributes to the security of the European Union, the security of the continent. Would you comment, please, on the question whether Ukraine becoming part of the European Union is also part of the broader security guarantees for Ukraine? Do you see this way?
Yes, indeed, and thank you for mentioning this. Your membership in the EU will be a political anchor of the security guarantees. What do I mean? With this? In the last years, before the war in Ukraine, we have forgotten in the EU, even in the times when my country, Slovenia, became a member in 2004, that the project of the European Union is about peace, is about freedom, and it is about prosperity. I admit, when we entered the EU in 2004, we have seen our membership mostly through the economic glasses. How much money we will get, how better we will live. But now, because of war in your country, complete geopolitics have changed. And it has also changed with the second administration of President Trump, who is in the positive way forcing us Europeans to take more responsibility for our security. I cannot imagine that Europe will be secure without Ukraine. I cannot imagine that Europe will be secure if we do not help you, not just in the military sense, but also helping you build up strong institutions which will be able to defend democracy, the rule of law, and values. You're already doing this, during my visit again and again, I see here in Ukraine you are the biggest defenders of the European values. And that's why you have to become a member of the EU. It is also our responsibility to enable you this. And this is a deep responsibility for peaceful Europe. And if I may say, I was speaking about Russia. You know, we have a kind of contest, a competition of two systems now. A democracy, which is represented by the European Union, who wants to see our candidate countries economic very stable and strong, who wants to help you to build the rule of law, who wants, you know, our candidate countries to protect the minorities, to protect human rights. On the other hand, we have Putinism, if I say so, or Russia, or some other autocratic system who do not want to see you strong, who do not want that the neighbors or other countries will be strong democratically and economically. Why? Because if they would be strong, they would have no control anymore. So the whole idea is, you know, really to suppress the countries, not to develop them. You know, now when I was in Moldova, I was also in Gagauzia, where they have voted last year for more than 90% pro-Russian. And then, you know, I was asking them, how much money did Russia invest in your energy independence, in your economic development? I didn't need to hear the answer because it was zero. But people still believe, some of them, that living in Russia, or sorry, in the Soviet Union, was better than it is today. You know, this is also something what we have to address. I'm not accusing those people. Perhaps some of them have been living better before because the state took care about everything. But it is not just about, you know, the bread we eat and the air we breathe. It is also about the freedom and can we develop ourselves. Russia do not want to see the neighbors being developed.